Welcome back to the KIMI KATO show. We just went out with I Get Around by Tupac and came back with When You Gonna Learn by Jamiroquai. So Lethal, uh, tell us
Yes.
about your filming experience on the big screen when you were filming Lost in Translation.
Lost in
I
translation.
want to hear
Yes.
about that.
So I have a little interesting, funny experience kind of related to that. I think I mentioned before that I did a lot of interviews for Countdown Groove. One of the people that I interviewed, I did everyone from like Backstreet Boys, Shaka Khan, just all kinds of people, Robert Palmer. It was like the most amazing job, definitely. But one of the people I interviewed was Sonic Youth, and they were in Japan promoting, I believe, their 10th album. They were there for like, doing like a mini live and whatever. So getting ready to interview them, because I had this thing where I would like try to get them all, feeling comfortable with me. And then I'd start asking the questions because it was a TV interview. And then all of a sudden, someone like, we were in the hotel suite and someone like bursts open into the suite. It was like, hey guys, can I hang out with you? I don't really have anything to do. And I'm like, who the heck is this person? I was like so annoyed the whole time, right? So then, but I'm doing the interview and I'm like, oh my gosh, she's so annoying, right? And then finish the interview and we're leaving the Park Hyatt Hotel. And I asked one of the staff, I say, who was that girl? And they're like, oh, Lisa-san. You don't know Sophia Coppola-san? I was like, oh, right. So that was my first impression of her. Fast forward 10 years later, and
Wow.
I get this audition for Lost in Translation. So I had no idea, didn't know, we were not given any detail at all about what it was for. I just knew it was a new Bill Murray movie, and that's all I knew. And
It
the day
wasn't
before the
Ghostbusters.
audition, it wasn't Ghostbusters for sure.
In
Yes.
Tokyo.
Yes. Um, and the day before the audition, I'm just going grocery shopping at my local grocery store. And who do I see in the fresh produce section but Sophia Coppola-san? And I'm thinking, oh, 10 years later, and here you are, right? Once more, not thinking a thing. I just like ignore it. Like, oh, okay, whatever. Then next day, go to the audition. It's a total cattle call. Like they invited so many models and just like it was just like crazy, crazy, crazy. So many people. I'm like, oh, there's absolutely no way I'm gonna get this. No way at all. So I get there. And I was told, because the title is Sexy Businesswoman. So I was told I had to wear a suit. So I wore a suit and I wore like little fake, glasses. And I get there and then they take my pictures. I'm getting ready to leave. And then all of a sudden someone taps me on my shoulder and says, Lisa-san, can we take more pictures? I'm like, okay. So, they like push me to the side and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Sophia Coppola-san is there. And I'm like, what is going on? So I was like, I see. Okay. So I saw you yesterday at my grocery store. Now I see you again. Okay. Okay. And then so she's like directing. Yeah. She's like, oh, do this, do that, and they're telling me very specific pictures that they want. Um, and then I still, I think, oh, I still probably won't get it. So then I get home, and then I think it was like a month later that I finally found out that I got the job, right? And then I get the script and I read the script and I'm thinking, wow, this is so similar to 10 years ago when I met her. Like, because it's based on her real life story, right? Because she used to be married. Well, and I think when I met her, she was engaged to Spike Jones, very famous, music producer or director, music video director, commercial director. So she would go to Japan all the time. And then she would sit there and she would have to wait while you know, Spike Jonze was like doing this work. And so basically, when I ran into her 10 years before, she was there with Spike Jonze, and she was like, "Hi, I don't have anything to do. I'm here." And, you know, I was super annoyed. And then 10 years later, she does this movie about that slice of life for her. And I'm actually in that. And so it was just this really crazy full circle moment for me, you know, where I'm
Very
just like,
cool.
oh my gosh. Yeah. And I never actually told her this. I didn't, I thought about it because, you know, I mean, I got to, you know, work with her on set, obviously, but I, you know, before we were getting ready to film, I was thinking to myself, I wonder what she's going to be like. I mean, I've only met her really that one time with the Sonic Youth, and you know, she was kind of obnoxious, and I, you know, but and then I met her, and she was just absolutely incredible. Like it was just an amazing experience to work with both her and Bill Murray. You know, she basically came up to me and she's like, "So this is the script, which I know you've received, but you know, you don't have to go line by line. Like you can kind of ad lib. Like I'm totally fine with it. This is, I just want you to kind of get the gist of what this, you know, what I want from you." And so yeah, so that was a really cool. So I have a very interesting, very not complicated, but I guess interesting relationship with Lost in Translation and with Sophia Coppola. But yeah.
That is crazy. Did she recognize you?
Yes. No, I don't think
No,
so.
no. It was 10 years
I
ago.
Yeah, yeah, and I did think about saying, "Yeah, I actually met you, you know, 10 years ago at, you know,
You
when I
crashed my
was
interview.
interviewing." Exactly, and you were super obnoxious, but I just didn't say it. I kind of wanted to keep that whole,
Mhm.
you know, like it was just kind of really a special thing for me, and I'm just like, "No, I'm just gonna keep it as is," you know? Yeah.
I
Well, no,
like that
thank you for
story though.
yeah.
That adds. I just watched that film coincidentally a couple weeks ago, and it adds a lot of context to it. I like your
Really?
story. Yeah, that just
Yeah.
adds a little
And
more to it. I enjoy it
yeah,
even more.
and we just
Yeah.
did a show on Suntory Whiskey last week. So,
Oh,
and we talked about Lost in Translation because it was all about that. It was all about the Suntory
yes.
Whiskey, right? So it was, this is
Yes.
how this is weird because I didn't think about it, but then, when I was thinking about who to have on the guest for our show, and it wasn't because of Lost in Translation. It was just because I thought you'd be perfect for our next show. But then when you told me about your experience on Lost in Translation, I was like, wow, this is all connected. And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
you being
And
Yeah, weird
connected
way,
to,
huh?
oh, yeah, it's weird.
That mean
yes.
Bill
And
Murray's
it,
on next, Kimmy?
yeah,
I
exactly.
wish.
Exactly.
Scarlet?
Chain of command.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's also quite interesting how, because, you know, now I do a lot of work in the world of, interpreting, and, you know, kind of what you guys mentioned about like the whole century, like, you know, you know, where he has an interpreter, and, you know, the director is like, "Da, da, 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 do this, do that, do that." And she's like, "Be more happy," or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
Be
And
intense.
And he's
be
like, it seems like
intense.
she
Yes,
said more than
yes.
that.
More
Yeah,
intense.
more
More passion.
intense. Yeah. And I now, for me, because I do so much interpreting, so I completely can relate to that, you know,
And she is
where,
amazing at that. She does MC translation all at the same time. But she's brilliant.
yeah, yeah, it was good. It was fun. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Lisa, you're amazing. Well, I've seen you do it. I've seen you on stage. You take control, but you make it
Yeah.
you make it seamless, and it's so amazing how you bring out the best of the when you're translating
Thank
each
you. I
parties.
appreciate it. Thank
I've seen
you.
it happen. The anime convention, you were doing this event where
Yes.
you were hosting, translating, emceeing, like you're doing the whole thing by yourself. So, anyways,
Timekeeping.
yeah, exactly.
Yes. The whole thing. Yeah.
Immensely impressed
Thank you so much.
and amusing too. You make the show fun. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I think, and you know, at the end of the day, because, you know, as you guys have seen in this hour that I've hung out with you on the show, but I, have many jobs that I do. But I think that, for me, the most important thing is, we're only on this earth, whether it be a TCK or not TCK, but we're only in this world for like a short amount of time. So gotta have fun, gotta enjoy, yeah.
So tell us about your podcast then.
Yes. So this is something, speaking of, got to do something while we're on this world, still alive and kicking. I've been wanting to do a podcast for a very long time. And just because for me, being a TCK, third culture kid, is such a huge part of my identity. And I wanted to really bring that more to the forefront. I feel like there are a lot of, I've seen some TED Talks about TCKs, and there are books about TCKs, and a lot of it is either scientific and very data driven, or it almost, to me, kind of has a very negative connotation. It's like, oh, you're a TCK, so you don't fit in anywhere, woe is me kind of thing. And my approach to it, I feel like, has always been, yeah, I don't fit in. And guess what? I'm making my own freaking world. Thank you very much. And I love my world. And so I've always wanted to kind of do a podcast. So I started Adventures of a Blonde Geisha. And, it's my telling stories, but then also bringing on other people to tell their stories and their journeys. And, we talk about the differences or the similarities, So yeah, it's kind of a pet project of mine, and I love doing it.
Well, keep going, girl.
Thank you.
It's a great topic. It's a great topic. I bet it really catches on. It really is for anyone to listen to, even if you're not a third, what do you call it again?
Culture kid.
Third culture kid, TCK.
TCK. Yeah, I bet there's some fascinating stories. I can't wait to dig into it.
I personally like TKG, Tamago Kake Gohan.
Yes. That's true. That's
do you like it? Do you like
TKG?
Not so much.
Do I like TCK?
No, TKG.
Oh, TKG.
TKG, Tamago Kake Gohan.
What is that?
Gohan.
You're not going to tell us?
Tamago Kake Gohan.
Yes, it's basically eggs on
rice with eggs on it. Yeah. I don't know. Would this be
hungry,
raw egg? Is it raw egg?
It's raw eggs.
Yeah, which I would totally do if it was, but I think I'd need sukiyaki involved.
Right.
Yes,
I like that too. Well, thank you so much, LISLE, for coming onto our show today. It was so wonderful to have you and talk about all your crazy stories in the entertainment industry.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so
much
for having me.
Kid. Oh, it's so much. It was so much fun.
Yeah, we got to have
Thank
her
you.
back,
I appreciate
Kimmy.
it.
There's more stories. I feel like we got a lot more stories.
There are so many stories.
Not all of them that you can tell on air, though, right?
Right.
A lot of fun.
PG version. Yeah.
We are going to go out with Big Fun by Inner Circle. Can you tell us about that song?
Absolutely. I think that I spent most of the 90s going out to the clubs. I had a lot of great friends, DJs, drag queens. We had such a great community. And this was kind of right after the bubble era, where there's a lot of amazing house music that was out in the scene. And this was one of my favorites, was Inner City. I love Big Fun. So.
All right. Well, here is Big Fun by Inner City. Thank you again for listening to the KIMI KATO show this week. Looking forward to seeing you back.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me, Kimmy and Jeremiah.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.